Welcome back to the Vision series, NCBI's collection of informational videos about sight loss. Today we are looking at neurological vision loss, which relates to vision loss acquired as a result of having a stroke. In Ireland, every year, approximately 4,800 strokes are recorded. Most strokes occur in those aged 65 and over, but 28% of male strokes occur in men of working age. Up to 60% of people who have a stroke experience vision loss.
My name is Michelle Withers. I'm a community resource worker based in the Cork office. I work mostly with people who are referred to NCBI following a sight loss diagnosis. I work mainly with people who have experienced a sight loss following a neurological condition or event such as multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's disease. I also work with people who've experienced a sight loss as a result of a stroke. Stroke can affect your sight in many ways. For example, first of all, you may experience central vision loss. This refers to the sharpness of your vision and allows you to see fine detail, for example, reading. So someone may experience that their reading is more blurred or they're not able to read as well as they used to. Secondly, peripheral field loss. This refers to your side vision. The most common type of peripheral field loss is homogeneous heminopia, and this is when half the side of the eyesight is affected in both eyes. This can impact on a person functionally. For example, they may bump into objects on the affected side. They may also be startled by somebody approaching them from the affected side, and also they might be at high risk of falls. Thirdly, eye movement difficulties, the most common being double vision. This may affect a person's ability to read and or their mobility. Fourthly, visual perception difficulties. This refers to how somebody processes visual stimuli in the brain, making sense of the world around them. This can be altered as a result of a stroke and visual processing speeds may be reduced.
I was in CUH then and they were very good. Eventually, when I think he was a nurse or something in there to do with this, and he was very strong on the idea of talking about this because people understand about a stroke that your hand is hanging down and all this, but there's quite a number of people get it and the sight is affected. Julia's cousin, she has a cousin here in Cork, and I don't quite know how came about, but she said you should get on NCBI. And I think the doctor inside, they said it as well. I saw a problem, but I didn't, because I could see so much. I didn't associate myself with being blind. I have nothing at all on that side there. My hand has to come to here before I see anything, and this one comes about there. So I'm looking at that. We got in touch with them and they came down, they were absolutely excellent. But when Marcella was with me, she taught me this scan business, so I can see you now and then, but I have to move like that all the time. They gave me pages and pages of stuff that you pick out letters and whatever, which I thought, I can't stand it. But eventually I persevered and I started picking them out, picked them off, and that was grand. And then they had colour markings in the house, and they had a light, just to teach you to scan. So scanning out to me is second nature. They took me around in the city with the cane. And again, like I say, I kept bumping off of stuff. So this is where the scanning comes in. I have to keep looking. Without that, I'd have been blundering around the place. You would have, because as I said, the cane is very handy. They showed me that. I mean, it's basically to let other people know that I have a bit of a problem, because they come at you, right? I have a quality of life now, which is different than what I had, but I'm very, very satisfied with it. And again, like I said, it's just thanks to them.
Vision loss is a hidden disability. This is because the public are unaware the person is experiencing a sight loss. Physically, they look the same. Mostly people recover well physically from a stroke. However, they may still be experiencing central or peripheral vision loss, or they may be experiencing abnormal eye movements. Visual changes following a stroke are often not picked up, and when they are, sometimes they are not communicated well to the individual and their families. As a result, the service user is not aware of the changes they are experiencing and how to deal with them. NCBI staff can work on visual rehabilitation. With a tailored programme based on the individual goals, a lot of the issues relating to the service user's sight loss following the stroke can be recognised, assessed, and relative interventions recommended. Education is a key aspect of our work. This involves educating the service user and the nature of their sight loss and how it impacts them on a daily basis. During assessment, we look more closely at the visual changes the person is experiencing and how it affects them functionally. We assess their distance and near vision. We complete a confrontation test to assess for a visual field loss. We assess for various degrees of colour contrast, primary and secondary colour identification, and assess their scanning techniques. Scanning is a very important visual skill. It is comprised of eye movements used for visual search. Following a stroke, a person's scanning abilities may be altered. We can use rehabilitative and compensatory strategies to work on this. It is important to note that we do not work alone in our assessments. While our assessments are based on the functional skills of the service user, we do link in with their ophthalmologist or optician. We also link in with their GP and refer to other healthcare professionals such as their public health nurse, occupational therapist. All this is done with the consent of the service user.
Stroke is the leading cause of adult disability in Ireland. Can you imagine suddenly not being able to speak or to move or to see? This is what can happen when you have a stroke. Stroke presents as a sudden loss of function. This occurs because a blood vessel in the brain becomes blocked or leaks, leading to rapid, irreversible damage to brain cells. 1 in 5 of us will suffer a stroke in our life. The majority of strokes occur over the age of 65, but stroke can strike at any age. Even young people can have stroke, with approximately 15% of our stroke population aged between 18 and 50. These visual impairments are often not obvious to the outside world, but can have a significant impact on the quality of life of our stroke survivors. Simple day-to-day activities such as washing and dressing, reading, writing, watching television, even driving can become a significant challenge after a stroke when you're left with a visual impairment. Working as a clinical nurse specialist in Cork University Hospital's stroke unit, we encounter the impact loss of vision has on the lives of our stroke survivors. Often, the emotional and practical impact of stroke is not fully appreciated in hospital and becomes more apparent when the stroke survivor returns home. The stroke patient's journey begins in the emergency department and moves to the stroke unit, where they meet the stroke nurses and members of the multidisciplinary team, who will help them establish their rehab potential to overcome and regain the function that they have lost. This is why it is so vitally important that our stroke survivors receive timely and appropriate referrals to community services to support them when they get home. One such organisation that our multidisciplinary team regularly refers our stroke patients to is the NCBI. We find the service provided by the NCBI invaluable to our stroke patients and to their families. The NCBI provides strategies for stroke survivors to adjust to life with a visual impairment. The NCBI empowers our stroke population by giving them opportunities, choices, and rights to live a full life after stroke.